Sowore. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct. Thank you.
All right, sir. It is very nice to have you in the junction today.
Yes.
All right, so I'm sure that a whole lot of people know you, and some, just very few, have seen you before. Yeah. But regardless, like it's a tradition on the junction already. I like you to greet our listeners at home.
Yes, thank you very much for bringing me on your show, and good afternoon to your listeners across your jurisdiction. You know, I don't know how far you go, but these days radio goes everywhere, because not only are you jamming on your frequencies, we are also reaching the rest of the world via social media platforms, yours and us, ours at this point. So it's great to be here, and I hope to engage in the next few minutes with our man, the BJ, here today at the junction.
All right, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, it's nice to have you in the junction today. All right, I can see all our listeners, our viewers on Facebook piling up already. I would like you to keep dropping your questions on Facebook. We have any phone lines right now. Just keep putting your questions on Facebook, or then producers help us with the text lines so that we can get questions on the text lines. But then we will not be opening the phone lines or taking text messages till the tail end. Around 5 weeks from now, and it is very heated on the streets already, from political rallies to political campaigns and a whole lot of things happening in the streets of Nigeria. But then, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, just like my friend would get to ask me when you are not there, yeah. In fact, when I told him you are coming around today, I said I am going to ask you that particular question. He said you have tried to contest, or you have actually contested a couple of times, yeah, and then you did not win. And
I contested only once.
Only once.
That was 2019.
2019, and you did not win. And then the question is,
I did not win because there was no election.
Okay, Mr. Omoyele, if you are saying there's no election, that means indeed you have proof that you would strongly hold on to say there was no election in 2019.
Yeah, but ask your question. Let's go.
What did you say?
What's your question?
All right, now the question would be that for somebody who had once contested as the president of this great country and then did not win, that means that there's something that is different that you are doing this time. And then we would like to know what actually is different this time. That is what my friend asked me to ask you, and I said, okay, don't worry, I will take that as my first question once it comes in the junction today. So what is different this time, sir?
Is that after 2019, I never stopped campaigning. And I think I'm the only candidate in 2019 who really revved up the volume of our campaign on a different scale and level, different from what our politicians are used to. So, if, for instance, you didn't believe me in 2019 when I said that there's police brutality, you probably do after NSAS, right? If you didn't believe me in 2019 when I said the economy is hard, you're probably feeling it now, because you've seen what the value of the naira has become and how your pockets are dried up. If you didn't believe me about insecurity in 2019, see what has happened to Zamfara, Katsina, and the Southeast, and the entire situation of the country. So, and I've kept speaking about this issue. I kept putting my ideas out there on how to solve these problems, and and nobody can say that these things didn't come to pass. But I'm not in the election to become a certified protester and a protester or prophet. I am here to change the narrative and change the course of history. That's why I'm running, and I have explained it, that's different from last time.
All right, and like some of the comments that we get to see on Facebook, you know that most times Nigerians just believe that, according to what I have seen, that what you do basically is that you basically talk about corruption and how to tackle insecurity in the country. And then some people are wondering, how come Omoyele Sowore barely talks about education? How come he barely talks about sports? How come he barely talks about a whole lot of other important things, creation of businesses and stuff in the country? Economy is always talking about corruption and insecurity.
That's not true. Anybody who said I haven't spoken about it since they're not following me, apparently, or they decided to just be, unconcerned about what I say. If I don't talk about education, why is it that I was the only presidential candidate that protested against ASU strike, both in Abuja with the Nigerian Labour Congress and in Lagos with students when they blocked the airports? If I don't talk about sports, why is it that I participate in sports? As a long distance runner. I run marathons, So if there's anybody in this dispensation that not only talks about sport, that does sport, I'm a sports person. Yeah? I'm the one. I still did a half marathon. I tried to do a half marathon. I did a 10K in Abuja. I think less than 2 months ago. And this is always publicized because I do live stream this thing. So I talk about education, I talk about sports, I talk about a variety of things. Not only do I talk about them as ideas, I have broken down how to solve electricity problem. I was the first person to talk about how to increase the electrical output for Nigeria, how to fix the transmission, and how to use energy mixes to solve Nigeria's electrical power and energy crisis. I've spoken about infrastructure, including how many roads, bridges, and how many rail lines we need, and how fast the rail should get between Abuja and Lagos, and between Lagos and Ibadan. Right now it's like 4 hours to get by train to Ibadan.
Less than 4 hours.
Nothing of a good train system should be more than 25 minutes to get between Lagos and Ibadan. What it does, it will decongest the highway for you. Because if I can get to Ibadan, from Ibadan to Lagos in 25 minutes, I won't live in Lagos. I'll live in Ibadan because it's less congested. Just wake up in the morning, go to the train station, buy me a newspaper. Well, there are no more newspapers, but I just read, check. Before you finish checking your Facebook, you're in Lagos. That's the way it should be. So I talk about this, and I talk about corruption. It's true, because corruption is a major, major problem.
All right. In fact, I was going to talk about the corruption itself, because in recent times we've seen that a couple of presidential candidates have always been coming up to do this is how I plan to tackle corruption, this is how I plan to tackle corruption. I've seen a couple of interviews before now, but then since you're in Jamz FM today, I would ask directly, what technique or what structures have you indeed put in place for the total eradication? Somebody said it is possible. Some people believe that
it is possible. See, corruption in Nigeria is aided by the refusal of the system to advance the processing of wealth or resources or money belonging to the public purse. Have you heard about blockchain technology?
Yes, I have.
Good. Do you know that we can do all our contracting with blockchain technology, such that the e-money that is involved in that, whichever one way it's denominated, can be tracked to the last person. Have you heard about coming into the studio and ensuring that anybody entering this one are available here? Comes with a digital footprint. You can use a fingerprint to enter the studio. At the end of the day, you can go back and check on the computer how many people enter the studio officially. So if something goes missing in this studio, you know the first person to comment and the last person. What about cameras? You understand that you install everywhere where there are public officers working, officials working, so where they do licensing or where people queue up to get anything done. The banks are using that. You can't work in a bank and be counting money and be stealing it. If they review the video right above your head, won't they catch you? So it doesn't mean that these things by themselves will eradicate corruption, but it will reduce it significantly, especially if you get rid of paper. I went to a university to try to use the hall, and they're still writing receipts. Those are part of the reasons why there is corruption in the system. If you go to Ghana and you get to and you have to pay for maybe excess things you buy from duty free as banned in their country. The customer will not touch your money. He will give you a paper. You're going to pay. There's a bank right in front of the place. The moment you pay the bank, the charges you paid reflects in government account right there. But in Nigeria, custom will still be writing you paper. You go and you pay him in cash. You go and say there's no change. He takes your change. You don't even know whether the money you pay gets to the government. So those are very just limited ways of eradicating corruption.
All right, because
but in big time corruption, of course, you have to do by enforcement. Eradicating them also includes technology, but it also includes enforcement and punishment.
All right, Junction people, we still have one of the presidential candidates, yes, in the forthcoming presidential election in Nigeria for AacParty, that is Omoyele Sowore. We are streaming live on Facebook, Jamz, 100.1 FM. I can see a couple of questions already, but then I would like you to keep the questions coming in. Just drop your questions on Facebook, Jamz, 100.1 FM, or you drop your questions on our text lines 0810-055-6373, 0810-055-6373. I'm sure that we are some of us streaming live on Facebook already, but then you can still join us. I can see some comments, and then I'll take all the comments. All right, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, do you know that some people actually see you more as a human rights activist than they see you as a politician?
What is the job of the politician? It's not to protect the rights of people that they are elected to protect. That's the primary job of the politician. But I know what people mean when they call somebody a politician. They're just practically calling you a thief or a dishonest person. So that's why I don't like to be referred to as a politician.
But then either you're a politician or you're a human rights activist rather, there's still a reason why you are asking Nigerians to trust you. Because yes, over time, to trust politicians in this age, it is something that is almost impossible. Omoyele Sowore, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, why should we trust you?
You should trust me because I have demonstrated over 3 decades that I can be trusted. Anybody who can put his life on the line for a cause should be trusted. Right? Politicians don't do that. They will never make any sacrifice. They rather sacrifice the country for their own personal comfort than to sacrifice for the country. And in 3 decades that I've done this, I have unblemished record. I've never been involved in any shady business before, never collected a contract from government. Even when I started the news platform Star Reporters, one of the first decisions we took was not to accept government advertisement, so that nobody uses government money to put their foot in the door. And there's just so much out there that I've done with my life in these last 3 decades that shows character, that shows integrity, that shows resilience. And if you have all these qualities combined together, you can bank with the person.
All right, now, the trust...
The question is, who would you rather bank with? Atiku, Sowore, Tinubu? Who would you keep your money with?
Well, I'm a media personality.
No, I'm asking the rhetorical question.
I understand. I'm just saying, well,
yes.
I'm a media person.
If the of us are a bank, where would you put your money?
People like us, we bank.
Come back and bank, the money will still be in.
People like us, we are banking with God. God
is not a banker, but so that's my point.
All right, so now the question of trust actually is being broken into 2 right now. The first part is actually Nigerians actually trusting you with our money, because I'm a Nigerian too, which means that when public funds are being mismanaged, directly or indirectly, it affects me. And then also, now, some Nigerians also, I get to see a lot of comments, either from your posts or from other people's posts on the media. And then now, there's the issue of other presidential aspirants always coming up with the, there was this time that Tinubu came with the, I built Lagos, go and see Lagos. Okay, we saw a lot of comments. And then Peter Obi comes up with the, go to Anambra. When I left, I was not owing any civil servant. I was not owing pension. I was not owing gratuity. And then people would say, okay, we had seen Omoyele Sowore involved in a lot of things over the last 30 years. And yes, considerably, he has done them well. But then, when it comes to politics, there's no particular thing that Omoyele Sowore comes to us to say, go and check Anambra or go and check Ogun State, go and check when I was, go and check. So now, how can we trust Omoyele Sowore, who in quote now, they see as somebody who has over activists than the politician to handle political affairs like others who have had vast experience when it comes to politics?
The easiest way to direct you is to judge individuals based on what they chose to do in life. My own calling or my causes were to fight for the rights of others. So during my period in my lifetime, bring about something that was scarce in Nigeria for a long time, democracy. Did I deliver on it? Yes. Did I deliver in fighting for rights of people? Yes. Do I get people out of jail? Do I get powerful people to stop abusing the rights of others? Yes. Even if you look at the entrepreneurial side of me, did this guy create a global company? Of course. And, it's called Sahara Reporter. Even though I hate to refer to myself as an entrepreneur, I've been a teacher, university lecturer for more than 10 years before I came to Nigeria in 2019 when I got arrested. So I have done what I chose to do very well for 30 years. If I was to be a soldier, I would be a general right now in the army, or probably retired. And I would have won wars, and defeated enemies of my nation. So what has happened to me is that I wasn't a soldier, but I've also fought and defeated a lot of enemies of our nation and our people. That's what matters. When you listen to the other people you mentioned, one built the biggest ghetto in the country of Africa called Lagos. He ghettoized a part of it and dodorized a part of it, but it's still Lagos, not a town or city to be proud of. The other person who says go and verify, you can verify that he had no achievements. He said he paid pensioners. Soludo came out recently and said he's the one who just cleared pensioner money for 20 years, including the period that he was governor of the state. He said that he left investment that was worth $100 million. When we went to verify, I discovered that he actually put the money of the state in his personal business, and the investment has dwindled to nothing, practically. So, you want to talk about Atiku, who's vice president for 8 years, and they ruined the education sector and give themselves licenses to operate universities, so that the universities can be going on strike on a regular basis. Why they build personal institutions, higher institutions from which to fleece the public and left the public institutions to rot away. So, are you talking about Papansu? Papansu has been in every government since 1999. He was Minister of Defense, he was a senator, he was two-term governor. He ran a state Kano, we just came from Kano, that has the highest number of out-of-school children. You understand? Again, go and verify. Nothing to verify. These are what my opponents are selling to snake oil.
Not me though. They're selling it to Nigerians.
Well, you are repeating it.
All right, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, I'd like to go on a short musical break right now. But then, before I do, I've seen a lot of a lot of elections, at least quite a few, happen in this country, and sometimes, as a businessman, I'm sure you understand better also that even if you have set out to do a few things over a period of time, we have a whole lot of things that can really affect it, from natural disasters to economic meltdown to a whole lot of things, which now I am not standing in place to create an excuse for politicians who have either failed or done way below the promised. But regardless, now, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, the question would now be, I'm sure that there are some politicians who indeed did not set out to fail, while some did not also set out to achieve the few things that they did achieve. So now, in your own case, I've seen you a few times where you come out to talk with all, how do I put it right now, with all full of confidence.
Yes, I'm a passionate person.
Okay, so now, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, how do we go about it when eventually, if you become the president of Nigeria, and after 4 years, you don't deliver the things that you have promised Nigerians?
If I don't deliver fundamentally half of what I'm promising in 2 years, I'll resign. And you can trust me now.
You are coming down to half, sir.
No, what I said is for 4 years, and in 2 years, I'm not giving you 10,000 to 15,000 megawatts of electricity. I'm just using electricity
All right.
as a benchmark. I'll resign. And you can pull that against me. You can take that to the bank. Because my image and integrity matters to me a lot. And part of what I'm doing, and I've always done, is to provide a different example of how to be a public servant, either officially or unofficially. I have served the public as a citizen in this country very well. If I get a chance, I'll serve them very well in an official capacity as president, and I guarantee you that you'll be surprised.
Now, that is one of the questions I've been trying to ask you that you have not answered, sir.
What's that?
If somebody has, like you have been into business for a while, we can indeed call you an experienced businessman.
Yeah.
For somebody like me who has been in the media and entertainment industry for a while, they can call me an experienced media personality.
Yeah.
And for those who are in the health sector, doctors, nurses, we can call them experienced medical personnel. So, sir, are we saying that politicians who have been in power or who have had to govern a small or large part of the country are not experienced to do better than somebody who has not been there before?
Okay. If those experiences matter,
are you saying they don't?
why is your country like this?
Sir, are you saying they don't, sir?
No, I'm asking you, I'm throwing the question back to you, that if the experiences they are telling you they have acquired or amassed over time, if it's actually good experience, why are you not experiencing prosperity? Why are you not experiencing good roads? Why are you not experiencing fantastic healthcare systems? Why didn't any one of these politicians turn their state to the UAE or Dubai that they love to go to?
Okay.
If no one has 8 years as a governor of a state, even if you can't turn the entire state around, you should be able to turn the capital of the state into something that people say like, wow, who is the governor of the state? Those are the kind of leaders we should be talking about. Not the people who met their state worse, they met it terrible and they left it worse than they met it. And those are who our opponents are. But they are very quick to provide you with, oh, I'm a governor, Some of them will even reveal to you that they got awards, fake awards, or they package awards for themselves. It's true. It's part of the reason you see I don't accept awards, in this country. Because there's a part of me that's just repulsive to the idea of somebody, going to carve a piece of wood and giving it to you. Oh, you are the best, and you are not the best inside of you. And it makes people who are the best to cringe when you see mediocre people getting awards left, right, and center. But the point I am making, which is to answer your question, experiences of this kind are not positive experiences that should count when you are looking for progress. You understand? The way I've asked some people is, if you buy a brand new car, you give it to a mechanic that spoils it all the time. He doesn't know how to fix the car. Would you buy a new one and go and give back to the same mechanic?
All right, I'll take that as a rhetorical question, sir.
Yeah, you won't, because naturally your instinct will be to find a better mechanic, even if the mechanic is new. say, wow, this guy, let me try him. Like tailors used to say in the village in those days, a trial will convince you. Yeah. But with experienced politicians, is a trial will confuse you.
Anyways, Junction people, we still have Mr. Omoyele Sowore. Yes, one of Nigeria's presidential aspirants for the
candidate. I'm at this point a candidate, not an aspirant.
Oh, sorry, that's one of Nigeria's presidential candidate who has actually been attending to quite a couple of questions, and also I would like to hear questions from everybody or our Junction people listening to us from home. But then I would like to take some of your questions and contributions after this short musical break. This particular one is from Timaya, and he calls this one Sweet Sauce. We are off for now. Out. Yes, yes. What is it? 15 minutes. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah.